Good morning, everybody. It's Tony here again with Rebel Financial. Thank you for joining us. And today I have a great guest, Angela Parsons from the Columbus Foundation. I'll let
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming. I'll butcher your title. So
Okay.
your title is?
I'm the Vice President for Donor Services and Development at the Foundation.
Okay. So they've been around for 75 years. So the things we're going to talk about today is the opportunities that you have to work with them, who they work with, and just some general things here in Columbus, regarding helping the community and things like that. So the first thing I'll ask you, just to describe as you would, what you guys do and who you help.
Sure. So we are the local community foundation. We work with over 2,800 separate component funds. Each of those funds is set up by a different individual, family, corporation, or not-for-profit. Each one to do with what they want to do from a charitable perspective. So we work with them, figure out what they want to do, how they want to do it, and get it done.
Okay. And as you said, 2,800 families right now, or 2,800 individuals, businesses, what have you. So, okay. In 75 years, so Harrison Sayre, is that right?
Harrison Sayre, yes.
Okay, so he started it, and really the goal is to help communities, our community, Franklin County and such like that. So a lot of different ways to do it. So you also, in terms of what you all do, some people come to you giving you specific ideas of what they want to do with their money, but some people come to you not knowing what to do, right? And so how do you help somebody if they want to help in a specific area but don't know where to go?
Sure. So we'll meet with them. We'll meet with them and find out what it is that they want to do, what their goals, their passions are, and then we work with them to figure it out and what type of fund works best. Some folks really want to help individuals get through college, so we have a lot of scholarship funds. We have over 280 scholarship funds, each one for different students coming from different areas for different colleges. So that's one way we work with folks. We have other folks that want to leave us in their estate, so we'll work with them to figure out then when we receive those assets what it is they would like us to support in their name in perpetuity, what organizations or what areas of the community they may want to support them.
And if someone's never done, there's people that have never, they get to here and there,
right,
but you guys can walk them through the whole process of setting up a trust or what they need to do and get them all organized.
Yeah, definitely.
From a legal point of view. So the other side of that is, scholarships. For example, you and I have a number of kids soon going or at college. So what if, not just that one, but other folks really want help for their charitable organization? Do they have a way to reach out to you all to get on your radar?
Yep. So we have an entire department, Community Relations and Grants Management, and they are in the community all the time, working with the nonprofits, figuring out who's doing the best work, what the biggest needs of our community are. So that team is also always available to talk with folks. And, so if someone knows that they have a passion, they really want to help end homelessness, then we would introduce them to one of our CRGM officers, and they would share what organizations in town are doing great work, where they might want to set up site visits and see the organizations, what they're doing and how they're doing it. So. And we can do that in all sorts of arrays.
Right. And that's how, as we've been doing this live broadcast, we've realized how many, there are just so many nonprofits that you can be helping.
I think it's, in Central Ohio alone, it's over 10,000. So
helping, doing good work. So, so let me segue. So let's do this. We're going to first look at the website, only because we're talking about all these charities. So when I Google the Columbus Foundation, this website, this is what I want to show people. It's important to know the charity you're giving to, just to make sure they're legitimate and that they're doing good. So charitynavigator.org is where I came to, and you can just punch in the Columbus Foundation. Anybody who has worked with charities, I don't think they always realize, you may have some charities set up just to make somebody look good, and so it's not very effective on what they do. So why I'm showing you this today is because how impressive you guys are at this. You have the 4 out of 4 score, and when you look at this, 100% with your financial and the accountability and transparency, and so there's that. But as you come down here, this is this is where you want to be, up in this corner, and this is where the Columbus Foundation is. So you can come down here and get more information too. I think, expenses are a big deal, and making sure you remain lean and efficient. So as I talked about, you guys are very large. You may have a good amount of employees, but relative to what you're managing, you're very lean, really.
Yeah.
And so that's really what matters. And the Columbus Foundation is one of the larger foundations like this.
We're in the top 10 in the country. Top 10 largest community foundations in the country.
So, I mean, that goes to show the 75 years, and not to mention how charitable I think our community is.
Definitely.
So while we're on the websites here, let's go to one more. Let's go back to yours, which is columbusfoundation.org. And it's really good to come here and navigate, and you can learn more. But specifically, here it is right here. It's probably going to go away in a second. So I'm going to navigate a different way. But here's a menu. I want to take you to one of the events that is coming up in 5 days from now, the 28th. So it's called The Big Table. And it's really about conversations that folks can have about needs here in Columbus. Well, I'll let you explain it.
Yep. So the Big Table, this is our 4th year doing the Big Table. And it's really about the community coming together to talk about what they see as issues in their community, in the community overall, how we can meet others, get to know each other, and figure out how we can have the best community.
Yeah. Well, there are so many ways to help, and that's where some of the getting people together to figure those things out, and that's why it's so important. But I just encourage people to go to the website. It's great. You can figure out how to navigate there. So, but that's really what I wanted to show there. So, I do want to ask you, a little bit about you.
Okay.
I know, interesting that you dove at Notre Dame. So,
yes.
So, is there kids diving? Because you got a couple of kids.
No.
Are they divers?
No,
that's
neither.
Out of the family?
Yep, that one. I was a gymnast for a lot of years, so when I stopped doing gymnastics, diving was an easy transition.
That makes sense why I'm really bad at both, because I guess there's a talent if you have one or the other. So, but then you came back here, went to law school. You're from here. You've been
from here, born and raised in Columbus. Yeah.
You went to Hartley, as we discussed.
Yes.
So, but you first got into you have your JD, and so you went into private practice for law, and then transitioned to this. So what are some of the differences? I mean, you've been doing this 13 or 14 years, we said now. So.
Yep, I've been at the foundation just over 12 years.
Okay.
I practiced at Deloitte & Touche and then at Kegler, Brown, Hill & Ritter, doing estate planning, business, and tax. So what I love about what I do now is I get to use all the skills I learned there to help people figure out how they want to help the community, how they want to give to charity. So.
Are you still involved in the taxes and stuff, or are you just kind of leading the way? You are? Okay.
So, we always, have donors. What we do is we partner with the donors, tax folks, estate planning folks, their attorneys, their accountants, to make sure that it's the best, what works best for the donor.
Okay.
So we work very closely with them. We're not giving them the advice. We're not doing it for them directly, but we work very closely with the advisors to make sure it's what's best for the donor.
Well, and so I am curious about the differences, because I think as I was growing up and kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I did not think about nonprofits and things. So what are the big differences? I mean, you obviously get more enjoyment, I think, when you could give back if you're the right type of person.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely think that's a major part of it. It's wonderful to be able to have grown up in this community, to now see all the good that we're helping get done because we have wonderfully generous donors that are putting their time and energy into the community, and we can just be a part of that by helping them figure out how to do it.
Okay.
How to best do it as efficiently and effectively as possible.
Okay. And as you mentioned, hard to believe that there's 10,000 charities here, and you can only know so many of those. So people have these opportunities to go employ. You guys have an area on your website. I mean, one of the top 5, right? And anybody who's wise enough obviously puts that up there. So, is it just as easy as like when you're in the private sector finding people? I mean, is that do you see people seeking you guys out?
We are fortunate. We do have folks that.
So it's not an issue.
That know the foundation and know what we do and want to come help.
Okay.
We have 3 of us currently on staff that are attorneys. We have at least three on staff that are CPAs.
Okay.
We have, most of our officers have some type of advanced degree, masters in public policy or, various areas. So we have a lot of expertise, and that's the expertise that we then bring to our donors.
Okay. So last thing Columbus is the last thing I want to talk about is the changes that are happening here and the different needs you see, possibly emerging. I mean, we really are a growing community, and with every growing community, there's the pains of often lower class people kind of getting squeezed and pushed away. But there are other needs as well. So and you've been doing this now for over decades. So what kind of changes and needs are different now?
Now than they were.
Where do you see a focus becoming?
So I think workforce development is a big focus. I think, we talked a little bit before, our community is changing. Not everybody necessarily needs to have a college degree. There's so many jobs out there that you just need to technically be, proficient in. And so there's a lot of workforce development things going on right now to try to bring the workforce along.
And a lot that, are you guys helping with those? I mean, as well?
We do.
You're seeing a lot of people wanting help to build their businesses.
Yep. And there's Opportunity Youth, or those that are 15 to 25 years old that are not in school, that are not employed, and that, we really think need to have a pathway to a job that will be sustainable and they'd be able to raise a family on. And so it's how do we get those folks that right now may not be in the workforce, and how do we get them to a place where they can be not only in the workforce, but then be contributing members.
Right, and making money and being able to raise a family, which is so many people.
So that's a huge area. I think the other areas are, just the community in general around, Smart Columbus, is a big thing for Columbus, but the whole point is how do we get people from where they live to where the jobs are. So, not only how do we train them for the jobs, but then how do we get them there?
The logistics of getting there. Yeah, we've interviewed a number of companies that are trying to figure that out, and I think it's evolving.
Definitely.
And, for a growing city, it's one of the things you can lament here. We have buses, but we don't have subways or anything like that getting people around. So we need to figure that out.
Yep,
But you are seeing more and more companies. I mean, they might be knocking on your door saying, "Hey, send people our way to help them." Yeah. Technology is gonna. 20 years from now, things are gonna look and feel, I think, a lot different in terms of how we do things. So anyway. Well, listen, that's, it's great. I wanted to make this nice and compact so people understand, who you guys are. As I described, you're kind of a conduit for people who, have money. They want to be able to set up trusts or foundations, and they can use you guys to do that. And then from there, they have the flexibility to either pick the charities they wish or get guidance from you guys to do so.
Yep, very true.
So, okay, great. Angela, listen, I appreciate it. So thank you
so
for
much.
coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, check out their website at columbusfoundation.org. And if you're watching this for the first time, please subscribe to our channel. You may benefit from it as we give a prize away now and then. But otherwise, thank you for listening, and we will see you next Friday.